Alright everyone, welcome to an episode of what I will be calling Auction House Roulette. Today we're going to be choosing top of A-class cars and seeing how they handle. We're going to look for cars that have custom tunes on them and see how random people's tunes perform against other people. We're going to attempt to find cars that have tunes from the person that's selling them, but if we can't find any, I'm open to whatever. We have found our first one. We're just going to buy this out because I have loads of super wheel spins and loads of money, and I don't care about money at all in this game. As you can see, the seller and the tuner are the same person, so let's see how this thing does. Here's the stats for a regular 2008 M3, and here's what this one has. I did notice right after I bought it that it's not top of A class, but that's fine. Obviously, he has it tuned for something, so we're gonna try it out. I do dig the paint job as well. He's got Horizon semi-slicks on, which is an interesting choice for not even top of A class. So it's looking like his camber's at 2.5 and 1.5. Tire pressures are like 30 in the front, 32 in the back, give or take, 31 in the back maybe. That's a very interesting tune. The suspension's kind of stiff, it seems like. It's not too bad, but it's definitely a little more stiff than I usually put mine at. Let's see how this thing does for speed. It's only got like 413 horsepower, 414. Interesting indeed. It's not very powerful. I will say that for sure. All right, let's do an A-class rivals on the Mexico circuit, Horizon Mexico circuit. Yeah, disconnected. This game, it's glitching hard right now. Like, the car is shifting for me, which is weird because I have it set in manual. Anyway, there's something weird going on. I'm not too worried about it. If you see some weird shit happening, just know that's the game and not me. All right, here we go. Let's see how this thing does. It handles not half bad. But then again, it's not. It's like upper middle of A class, and it's got semi-slicks on it, so I would be upset if this thing didn't handle very well, honestly. With semi-slicks, this thing should take corners like a dream. Oh, understeer for sure. I almost wonder if the rear wing is like cranked clear up and the front is not. It's not looking too bad under load. I mean, it is lifting it pretty good. I'm almost wondering if that rear spoiler is a little high. Either way, it's hot lap time. Let's see how we do. Our goal is 110. I think I can get it down to 110. Oh, little tail happy. Interesting. The way this thing handles is definitely interesting. It likes to be under power for grip on the rear, but as soon as you let off, it just kind of, I don't know. Seems like a little bit of brake loosens up the rear end. It seems like the rear suspension is too stiff and the rear spoiler is too much. There was our mirror from the previous lap. Not too bad on the high-speed corners. We actually got it down to 109. Not half bad. I'm gonna give this thing another lap just to see what's up with it. Oh, understeer. Made it through the corner though. Not half bad. Not half bad considering we're not top of A class and we're passing that bone shaker through the corner. That's not bad at all. 1089. This car is actually really not bad. I don't know why he doesn't have it at the top of A class because the tune's not terrible. It's not exactly the way I would do it, but it takes corners pretty well. If he added enough power into this thing to make it top of A class, it might be pretty quick. Let me be real, it might be quick. Yeah, very interesting. It's not too hard to drive other than the things that I've mentioned, like the rear suspension seems to be a little stiff, and it seems like the rear spoiler, rear wing is a little bit too much. I don't even know if you can adjust that. I might be completely wrong in that one, actually. I don't know. The rear end handles a little weird under braking. Maybe it's just that the tire pressures are too high. Maybe I'm just used to low tire pressure life. Either way, I'm going to give this tune a 6 out of 10 just because it's not at the top of A class. If it was at the top of A class, it would probably be a 7, maybe even a 7.5. It does have some understeer issues though. I will say it has understeer for sure. This is a very hilarious paint job, but I'm not buying that for $12 million. No, not a chance. Oh, here we go. 797 A rank tuned by the seller. Let's do it. I should mention, if you guys have tunes you want me to try out, let me know. Alright, this car started off as a B class. It is like, it's top of A, but it's got a lot of speed. It's got worse handling, it's got better acceleration, better launch, and better braking. The off-road is worse, so I'm wondering if this is a power build on not as good of tires. I like not having to do any work on these cars. Oh yeah, it's a power build. Okay. My least favorite type of build. I would sell it too if it was gonna be as shit as this car is. Holy crap. Okay. Oh, geez. We're flying. This is a flying car. I would imagine, oh geez, this game and car are freaking out on me. I would imagine this thing is tuned pretty well for a power build. I wouldn't know because I don't use them, because I think they are dog shit. 2 degrees in the front, 1 in the rear, which is a little weird for a power build. From what I understand, power builds are supposed to have very, very little camber in the back. Ignore the tire pressures. They're probably a little high because I was just doing almost 200 miles an hour on them. Yeah, there's 220. For A-Class, this is a little much. 230 miles an hour is a little much for A-Class. If you built the car specifically to do jumps, though, not a bad build. All right, you know what time it is. Let's do an A-Class Rivals. All right, here we go. It's weird that this thing has a cage in it as well. For a power build, you don't really want the weight, right? Don't put a cage in it. Makes sense to me. This thing is going to be absolutely terrible. Man, I am, very light on the throttle. Very light on the throttle. Come on, car. Yeah, that was less than half throttle. I hope this thing does have decent brakes. That's right. I saw the stats. It does. I'm not a power build fan. Especially when I have to be like very light on the throttle. I want to be able to use my car to the fullest extent. All the way through the corner, or all the way through the track, including the corners, which means no power builds for me. Burning the tires off in a straight line. That's real good for racing around corners. Brakes. Gentle. 111. That is better than said previous car's first lap. I guess we'll see what we can squeeze out of this one. As long as I have somewhat amount of throttle temperament going around these corners, we might have a decent time. This car in front of us is running the exact same time as my personal best, if that tells you anything about how these tunes and vehicles are doing. Brakes compared to at least what I can handle, or what I can pull off. Go kart. Gun it. Oh. She's not too terrible. I won't lie, it's not terrible, but that is because I'm driving it correctly. We're going to try and be even more gentle on the throttle this time, see if we can coax like another second or so out of it. I'll put this on screen so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Have a brake, not bad. Oh, too much. A little bit much. Shifted up a little early there, but at least we're getting some traction. Let's see what the time's going to be. Oh, little squirrely through the corner there. 198. That's exactly the same as the previous car. Not terrible. Not terrible if you actually consider that I'm having to baby this thing through this entire track. Oh, let's try leaving it in fourth. We get traction at full throttle all the way through fourth, so we're going to leave it here for a minute and see what we can squeeze out of it. Still lets him rip all the way through the corners. That's not great. We're keeping up with him. Maybe this is the way to go. This thing's making 23.5 pounds of boost, which is got to be the top of the turbos. He doesn't have anti-lag turbos on it, though, which is kind of surprising. Maybe it's not the top of the turbos. I don't know. 107, 108, 108.9. I think that is better than the previous car. I will have said it on screen if it was or not. Either way, this thing, it's not fun to drive. It's not fun to drive at all. It might be quicker than the previous car, but having a good car like that Bone Shaker up there, which is just all around better, that's the way to go. I'm going to give this thing a 5. Actually, no, I'm going to give it a 4. Because I think it's just me controlling this thing that makes it okay. The reason I'm not giving it any lower than a 4 is because you can actually use it for stuff. This thing's probably not a half bad drift car, to be honest. And it's probably pretty good at the challenges like jumping and speed traps. Other than that, not for me, that's for sure. There we go, a front wheel drive one, and it's $6 million, but it's tuned by the same person that's selling it, so we're gonna buy it. I can still buy out cars from the auction house, but I can't race around in online with anyone. That's cool. I do like the look of this car, the purple metal flake and the carbon fibre hood. Not half bad looking. I always enjoy the Hot Wheels colors, though, to be fair. So that, again, all of this is based on my opinion, so if you don't agree, tough shit. It's stock motor entirely, too. There's no turbo. The exhaust sounds absolutely terrible. Got a decent speed. It's not bad. It handles not too bad at this speed. It's actually really not terrible at all. -2 and -1.5. It doesn't seem like a lot of people tune their camber too much. Tire pressure in the rear is lower than the front. That also could be because of that, me doing fat burnouts with front wheel drive. That could be either way. It's a little higher than I always run it like 22, 23 area. Suspension doesn't seem too terrible, not stiff, not too loose. So far, no complaints with this car. Let's see how it does in rivals. Now, this thing may not have a lot of speed, but since it's front wheel drive and almost top of A class, I am hoping that it has a decent amount of handling. I'm hoping that it's pretty good in the corners. Yep. What I thought, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Yeah, this thing's not bad. I have no complaints at the moment. The rear end is a little loose through some cornering situations, so you can soften up the rear suspension, but other than that, it's not bad at all right now. That also could probably be fixed with getting rid of all the camber on the rear, or not all the camber, but a decent amount of it, taking it down to like 1 degree, maybe 1.1. Oh, see what I mean? It was understeering and oversteering at the same time there, and by that I mean it was just sliding entirely. Understeer does seem to be something that happens a lot with front-wheel drive cars. No surprise. You can tune it out. If you know how to do it, you can tune the understeer out. You have to have a really soft suspension setup for the front, basically entirely all the way around, and lower tire pressures, a lot of downforce. You can basically get rid of it entirely. It does slow the car down, but it'll make it a handling machine. I didn't even realize it, but I haven't really been trying all that hard, and we have the best time in this car already, which is saying something. Which is what I was leaning towards, this one being definitely the easiest and the most fun to drive. They definitely need to tune the transmission a little bit as well. It seems like 5 and 6 are a little larger. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like if the car has better performance if you put 5 and 6 a little smaller, so you can squeeze all the extra torque and power out of it. Oh, in the upper end, that was a bad corner. 107.7, I think I've got a little bit more to give. All right, 107.7 is all we're going to get out of it. I take it back. The rear suspension is not too terrible at all, to be honest. I don't know what it was. It was probably just the way I was driving it, because it's front wheel drive and I was not ready to change up for that yet. I forgot. But after I started driving it a little bit differently, the rear end doesn't slide anymore. So this is all right. I think this tune is actually not far off of what I would do. It's a little bit looser than I would. I usually try and make these things handle really, really well so I can keep a consistent line and never change it up, ideally. Consistency is often how I end up winning a race. It's got to be quick and it's got to be not easy to crash. That's the whole idea. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah, this thing is good. This car is quite good. This is definitely the best car today, and it still has room to improve. It's got 3 PI points, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it can be. It really can be quite a lot. But yes, the Celica is the winner today. Let me know if you guys enjoy Auction House Roulette. I thought this was kind of a fun idea. I haven't seen anyone else do it, so I figured, you know what? Let's do it. And I can always do a follow-up episode on the 3 cars that I got from the auction house and tune them and build them on my own to the top of A-Class and see how they do. If that gets enough interest out of the comments, I'll do it, and we'll see if I'm just talking out of my ass or if I actually know what I'm doing on this game. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe and stuff, and I will see you next time.